Hello, everybody. Welcome in to WRL's Daily Download. I'm Jalen Jones. I'm here with Will Doran here for another episode. We have some controversy going on our local Capitol Hill that's going to go to Capitol Hill. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe to this video. If you listen to us on podcasts, make sure you rate us, give us 5 stars, leave a comment. The community is what makes WRL different, and we love you guys and your guys' feedback, your guys' comments, your guys' willingness to help out with stories is what makes us unique as a local TV station, and we appreciate you guys as well. We are here today, really been triggered by retiring Senator Tom Tillis out of North Carolina is giving up his seat.
Right.
A lot of people have interest in their seats, in this seat specifically, whether it's for different reasons, different agendas, Democrat and Republican. We're here today to talk about one particular situation. Margot Dupre, a Florida resident that is running for the North Carolina seat. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Will clear me up.
She says that she is not a Florida resident.
Okay.
Challengers say that she is. So that is really the heart of this debate here. Mm-hmm. And she is running. She's a Republican. She's one of 7 different Republicans who are running in the primary to replace Tom Tillis. You know, everyone, has heard of Michael Whatley. He's kind of the, seen as the front runner. But you also have folks like Don Brown, yes, Michelle Morrow, who are, big names as well, have some followings. And then there are some people who are a little bit lesser known. And I would say that Margot Dupre is in that category. She says she lives in Charlotte. A just random voter in Fayetteville said he thinks that is not true. And he is asking the State Board of Elections to investigate. And so a few days ago, that is exactly what the State Board of Elections did. They got together to talk about this claim that she doesn't actually live here.
Absolutely. And yes, we do investigate these claims. That is a part of our job, as this is a big deal, especially if she's not. And it's a big deal she is, because it's another contender for the seat. You wrote a web article about this, which can be found on WRAL.com. Does one of the North Carolina U.S. Senate candidates live in Florida? That's the title of this article. You can go and find that anywhere. Let's start from the beginning. We found out about this. I guess a whistleblower, someone, I guess so. I don't know if that's the proper term, but we got a complaint. Jerry Reinoehl, Fayetteville Republican, said this. What's next with this story? What's going on here?
Well, so what happened at this hearing was that Margot Dupre could have shown up and said, here's my driver's license, here's my utility bill, something else that proves that I'm a North Carolina resident. Mm-hmm. She chose not to do that. Instead, she asked for more time to hire a lawyer. So, no admission of anything, but, for sure the plot thickens. Absolutely.
Yes.
Because, if you have an easily accessible license or utility bill that shows that you do, in fact, live in North Carolina, you have a house here, this is your residence, you would think that you would just show that instead of asking to hire a lawyer. Now, there could be other reasons. One of the issues is that on her voter registration, she lists her address as a UPS store in Charlotte, and you can't do that.
So basically a P.O. box.
Right, exactly. And, lots of people do receive mail somewhere else from their actual residence. That's a common thing.
I'm one of those people.
Okay, there you go.
Yes.
But I hope that your voter registration shows where you actually live and not just where you pick up your mail, because
it shows my home. Yes.
There you go. You were following the law. That is what state law requires you to do. Her voter registration does not show that. And so when this first came out, I actually reached out to her. We saw that the state board was investigating these claims. And so I called her up and I said, hey, state board, is looking into whether or not you live in North Carolina. Do you? And she told me, yes, I do live in North Carolina, and I'm going to send you a written statement with some more details. Okay, great. Absolutely. And so get the written statement from her. She says that because of her background in law enforcement, she doesn't like to give out her address.
I understand.
Now, I do believe that there are some laws in North Carolina that allow people, for instance, if you've been the subject of stalking, or if you're, a judge or something else like that, law enforcement officer, you can request permission to not have your address be public.
There are reasons there. Yes.
Right, but it's unclear if she's ever specifically gotten that permission or not. She said that she is a resident here. She declined to share what her actual address is when I talked to her. And then she shows up at the Board of Elections, and I actually got a little bit of a shout out in this meeting. It was unexpected because part of the reason why she asked for more time to hire a lawyer is because she actually didn't even know that the state was investigating her until I called her.
And the official quote is, "I only learned of this hearing when the reporter from WRLA or AL, I guess, called me 7 days ago," end quote. That was the direct quote.
Yeah, close enough. Close enough.
Yes, close enough.
On the call side there. But yeah, I mean, that's just basic journalism. When you see that someone's under investigation, first thing you do is you call them and, try to get their side of the story. So she says that she's a North Carolina resident. She has not given out her address either to me or to the state. She's now asking for a lawyer. And actually, in these kinds of hearings like the state is doing, investigating her, you're not guaranteed a lawyer. This is not a criminal trial where you have a right to counsel or anything like that. So the board could have said, no, we don't care. We're just going to go ahead with this and, make you answer our questions or, make a decision on whether or not you are allowed to be on the ballot. But they said, look, people get continuances all the time for traffic tickets. This is a bigger deal than a traffic ticket. This is, whether someone is going to be allowed to run for U.S. Senate or not. Like, that is absolutely a bigger deal than a traffic ticket. So, if we give people extra time to go find a lawyer, when they've been caught speeding, we can give her some extra time. So they've actually scheduled this out. It's going to be early February that the board is going to come back again, have a bigger hearing, and really try to get to the bottom of this and decide, is she a North Carolina resident? Did she violate the law? Is she eligible to run for Senate?
Okay. All right. I get it. Let's go down two paths here. One, why does this smell fishy? And two, I completely understand the logic in this. Sounds fishy, correct? Just present your address instead of, oh, I'm just going to go hire a lawyer. That sounds a little fishy.
And I mean, to be clear, there are hundreds of people in North Carolina who are running for office this year, including a lot of people who are former law enforcement officers.
Yes.
Who have given out their address because that is what the state law requires you to do. But like I said, there are also laws that allow in certain cases for people for public safety reasons to keep their addresses secret.
Absolutely.
It is a public record, but there are exceptions to that. And so, there's obviously, there's both sides here in an argument. But what we don't know is, did she actually follow the proper processes for trying to keep her address secret or not? Or, these are the things that, once she does have a lawyer, we will probably get some more answers to.
Absolutely. And let's clarify the stance that, hey, if you want to go down the path, I understand the logic of keeping your address secret, obviously, for those reasons. Let's clarify again that I understand the logic point of view.
Yeah. I mean, if you're worried about your safety and you don't want people showing up to your house, there are very reasonable arguments to be made for that. Because, other states also make it much harder to find people's voter registrations.
It's very easy here in North Carolina.
I've tried to look up people's voter registrations in other states like Arizona and places like that. And I mean, you need your social security number or a driver's license to be able to figure out okay, this is the address where someone's registered to live. Here in North Carolina, you don't need any of that. All you need to know is their first name and their last name. That's it. It's very easy to find people's information online. And it's transparent. Yeah. There's obviously, people could have problems with that or not, but the fact of the matter is that, yes, this is a public record and we do require people to follow the rules. And, especially, in this environment when you hear particularly members of the Republican Party talking a lot about election laws and election integrity, I think a lot of voters want to see that their candidates who are running for, one of the most powerful offices in the state, U.S. Senate, arguably the most powerful office we elect, are actually following those rules.
Absolutely. And, if there is a complaint about the law, there are methods to petition a change in the law. But, in this certain scenario, hey, we're dealing with what the law states as is, and we have to follow that or make sure other people are following that as well. So I understand both sides of the spectrum, and I'm glad we were able to touch on this. Is there anything else missing in this reporting?
Yes, we also spoke with the man from Fayetteville, Jerry Reinoehl, who filed this complaint against her. Because what Margot Dupre said, even though she gave a written statement and then refused to answer any other questions from the board since she didn't have a lawyer, but she did give a written statement in which she said that she thinks that this is politically motivated against her. She didn't say who might have been driving this attack against her, but, there's 6 other Republicans who were running in this primary, so, could be one of them. So we spoke with Jerry from Fayetteville, who filed this complaint, and asked him that, specifically said, hey, she's accusing you of doing this for political motivations. And he said, no, look, I'm not working for anybody. I'm just a longtime election integrity advocate. I, pay attention to these things. And I was, backgrounding all of the candidates and noticed that, her address is a UPS store in Charlotte, not an actual house. And so I filed this complaint. He said that was his only motivation there. So,
there's some people that just have that motivation to just make sure election integrity. And I understand that point of view. And, I guess we're going to continue digging into the story.
Yes. Like I said, it's coming up in a few days. The state board is going to be holding her again with another hearing to actually give her more chances. Hopefully she has a lawyer on hand this time, because they were not too pleased about delaying this even further. Because, look, voting is already underway.
Voting is underway. Yes.
That's the thing you got to remember. I mean, people who have requested to vote by mail, they've already been mailing in their ballots. Mm-hmm. So if people, are voting and not realizing that, hey, actually the state is about to figure out, that one of the candidates might not actually be eligible to run, like, they need to figure that out quickly.
This is very timely, because this election is currently in November 2026, correct?
Well, the primary's in March. So, and early voting starts mid-February. So, if we're not having this hearing on her eligibility until early February, and, like I said, people who can vote by mail have already started doing that, the clock is ticking for sure.
The clock is ticking, and so are we, especially as we're about to switch gears into winter weather coverage as well a little bit. So I do a little shameless plug, guys. If you guys are looking at the winter weather, you guys can follow anywhere you get WRAL. Go ahead, download the app, like and subscribe on this channel. You guys will stay up to date. We're going to keep you up to date on this situation dealing with Margot Dupre. We'll keep you updated right here on WRAL.com. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. And let's hope that hearing does not get delayed due to the winter weather.
Yes.
We'll see what happens.
Yes, the time is ticking for a lot of things, for a lot of different reasons. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, like and subscribe. If you're also listening to this on podcast, rate us, review us, leave a 5-star, leave a comment. The community is what makes this a real The community is what makes WRAL what it is. So, again, thank you guys so much for listening.
And send us tips. If you got some news that we need to be reporting on, email us. We'll take it.
Absolutely. WRAL.com/report it is where you can submit your tips, submit pictures of winter weather. If you have tips on the election, if you want to talk to us and know somebody, please send us that content. You guys make us great. You guys make WRAL what it is. Anything else?
I think you nailed it.
I appreciate it. I love working with you, Will.
Good talking to you again, man.
All right, guys. Until next time, thank you guys so much for listening and watching.